Welcome back to Our Community. Susie Thomas visiting with Jordan Maddox, Liz Fatch, and Lyndon Thomas. They are working together on the Miles for Kids 5K. And this is Jordan, you said, which one? How many you've been doing?
This will be the 7th annual 5K race.
And 3 for you.
Correct, as a director.
What brought you to this? You seem, well, you know what? These days, everybody seems really young. So you seem young in your positions, and you've been there 3 years already. So what was the attraction with Kiwanis in general and this particular 5K?
Great question. One of the things I really love about Kiwanis, which is an international service organization, so like Rotary Club or Lions or any of those, but what differentiated Kiwanis for me is they do a great job of integrating every level of education. So I actually started out way back in high school as a Key Club member, and so I got involved there, and I just truly saw the impact of service on the community. And then when I went to the University of Toledo, I was actually at one point president of the Circle K, which is the component in college, and went on to a statewide position organizing our statewide district convention. And I got to meet so many individuals, got to see so many different perspectives and diversity, and see the impact of when different groups come together, different schools come together and help and through, either one day of service or other projects. And so after I graduated, I found a great job here in the Canton area as a pharmacist, and I knew I wanted to continue on with what we call the K family. So I quickly became involved with the local Kiwanis Club, and we have one in downtown Canton and many different area communities in the area in the county. And so being a runner myself, I've actually done I think 44 marathons so far.
Really?
So when this opportunity came up, I said, I know races. I know what runners need. I would love to help out any way I can.
Will this ever be a marathon?
There's a lot of logistics behind longer races, and so I think we're pretty good with the 5K currently. At some point, maybe expand to a 10K, but we'll see how growth goes.
Yeah, sounds so good. I'm so glad to hear that there are still Key Clubs in high schools. Where did you go to high school?
I actually went to Norwalk High School. It's about an hour and a half from here, just a little south of Sandusky, Ohio.
Nice. Lyndon, do you happen to know locally, do we still have Key Clubs in the area high schools?
We do. Besides being a part of CSRM, I'm also a member of Belden Village Kiwanis, and we sponsor the Glen Oak Key Club, the Fairless Key Club, and the Jackson High School Key Club.
Yay. So glad to hear that those are still going strong. And then, of course, Circle K once you get to the college area. So, yes, Kiwanis, I always think of as being very focused on international and doing things for particularly children in faraway places. But is this a new concept to be bringing it closer to home and to be serving children here as well? Or have they always kind of done both?
It's always been a joint effort, and even the organization itself started in Detroit back in 1919, I believe, and so it always started out as a local group, and then as influence expanded internationally, it kind of paired up with that international effort. And one of my intrigues with getting involved with the Eliminate Project, which was one of the founding kind of projects we used to support this with, is we actually, back when I first joined Kiwanis in 2013, shortly thereafter, neonatal tetanus was completely eliminated in the country of Ghana.
Wow.
And why that meant so much to me is I've actually been on 2 mission trips to Ghana and have seen those children firsthand, and even the healthcare system. We did a medical clinic in Sala in the northern region of Ghana, and seeing the conditions, and so they need a lot of resources and help. And so, having that personal Eliminate project, see that change in an international country, but also seeing it here locally meant so much to me.
When you put a face on it, it makes a difference, doesn't it?
It does.
After being a runner yourself, and now you're on this side of it, operating a race, any surprises there? What have you learned over the last 3 years?
I think I'm a lot more understanding when I'm about to participate in a race, I kind of know more of the difficulties behind it. For instance, I just ran the Xenia Marathon last weekend, and I had to laugh because we were about to start the race, and they said, we're having audio difficulties. Does anybody want to come up and sing the national anthem? And I knew if I were in that spot, it would be a tight place. And so I didn't participate, but I understood some of the difficulties behind it.
Oh, my goodness. Well, do you purposely make sure that there's not too many hills or something like that? Because, in Stark County, you can have everything.
Definitely. Like I said, this course is open for the advanced runners and runners even walkers that want to go out there and walk the whole distance. But that's always something on my mind. When we were first selecting a location, I wanted, of course, safety was the top priority, and then runnability. So being a runner myself, nobody wants to run up a steep hill and then go up and down the rest of the way. So it's a very flat course. It is a 2-loop course. I like those because you know what you're getting into the second half as well.
Yeah. Really smart. It's a great campus, too.
It is.
Perfect place to do
Great facilities.
Looking back at the last couple of years, how many people do you anticipate to participate?
Great question. So last year, weather always plays a little bit of a factor. And so last year was a little bit overcast. And so we had a little over 100 participants, which I will say one incentive for doing this race, it's fairly small. Last year, we gave out over 70 medals for top 3 in each age division. And so you can do the math. If we gave out over 70 and there's 105 runners, there's a good chance you're going to be able to take home a little medal as well as, the Subway 6-inch free voucher as well.
Oh, great. Food and something to remember this by forever. Liz, you going to be running?
I'll think about it.
Tell me a little bit about your time with Pathway. How long have you been there?
I have been with Pathway for almost 2 years now.
And in what capacity?
I am the marketing assistant there.
Oh, fun. All right. So what drew you to Pathway?
Sure. So the passion that just resonates among the staff, our foster parents, and even our volunteers is truly inspiring. I mean, it's a tough place that we're in, dealing with the kids that walk through our doors, and just meeting them where they are at. The staff go above and beyond to truly meet their needs and to make them the number one priority.
In your position, are you a little bit buffered from some of the families that you're working with, or do you get a chance to see or at least hear about some of the lives being changed through Pathway?
I am buffered. I do not work directly with our kids, but I do get to interact with our families at certain events, and just seeing them from maybe we have a trick-or-treat event to a Christmas event, just seeing the difference in the social skills that kids gain in being in our foster homes in a matter of 3 months, it is truly incredible.
There has to have been somebody who their story just really tugged at your heart. Has that happened? Have you felt something like really moved by any of the families that have been served by Pathway? I'm seeing a nod, and I know that's tough.
Yes,
I don't want to be throwing you a curveball at all, but if there's any that you would mind sharing with us, we'd love to hear.
There are several stories that I've been able to hear and to meet those families as well. One adoptive family that we have, there are 2 little girls, and they now have been officially adopted by their grandparents, so they are in kinship care. The stories that they grew up with, their mother was in foster care, and she just did not put them in a good environment, just with the boyfriends that she had, and they were not physically safe. So they were taken into care by their grandparents, and the little girl, the youngest sister, she was had severe head trauma, and they were not sure if she would be able to be verbal or not. I see her come in the office. She's 7 years old now. She is one of the most energetic little 7-year-olds you've ever
Wonderful.
seen. The oldest sister, she is 13 now. She was very reserved and withdrawn, and when she was in foster care, it was just a matter of going from home to home and not being able to be in a stable environment. And now she comes to groups, and you see her in the office. She will talk to you, engage with you. She has friends at school. She's doing great as well.
Wonderful. And again, this is did you say a trust camp scholarship? That
Yes.
money from this particular 5K will be funding?
So Trust Camp is pretty pricey. It can run about $800 per teen that attends. And the money from this will then go to providing that scholarship for our teens. And so no money has to come out of pocket for them to
wonderful.
be able to attend.
Great. So finances will not be a deterrent to anyone.
Right.
Awesome. Lyndon, how about you? CSRM, you've got to have seen some great changes in young people. I mean, they're all having fun. That's not the worst part of their day.
Yes, they are all having fun. And like we
Yeah.
talked about some of the local impact, but some of the biggest stories we hear is the international impact
Oh, tell us.
that we have as well. So we just had a sports director in from a Mideast country and talking about the limitations. Boy, we just take for granted the religious freedom we have here in the United States. It's not the same everywhere else in the world. And yet sports like here works well to attract people and bring them in. And when they come into a sports environment in a game, if they ask the question, well, why are you doing this? Or why are you hosting that? Then that director can talk about their faith in that particular situation, whereas they could not be the initiators, but they can answer a question. And just to talk about, the trauma of some of the, terrorist events going
Yes.
on
Yes.
literally in their backyards, and yet they're still carrying forward the mission that they have.
Okay, now let me make sure I understand this, that this actually taken overseas to the Middle East, this is through sports, this is one way to do outreach with Muslim friends as well?
Yes, and several people are what we call global network partners, so they're affiliated directly with CSRM, and they're in countries that we don't want to name exactly, or we certainly don't want to put their names on Facebook,
Exactly.
because
Don't
that becomes
endanger anyone.
dangerous for them and their families. But that's the kind of international impact that we're having.
And people are open to those discussions and they initiate them.
Correct. So it's amazing. Cricket. Everybody wants to play cricket in some of those countries, right? And they'll come, and then they'll get presented. And again, we start at the very beginning. Everybody deserves respect.
Yes.
And why is that? And then kind of build upon that.
Ah, it's awesome. All right, well, very exciting what this little 5K is going to do. So, again, remind us, Jordan, how do we sign up?
Yes, so our registration's through runsignup.com. So if you go on that website and you type in the search engine Miles for Kids, it'll be the first option that shows up there, and it has information about our charities, ways to donate, and of course register for both the 5K and the Free Kids Run, which again, it's free, but we like to have your children sign up for it so we get an idea of numbers.
Jordan Maddox, Liz Fatch, Lyndon Thomas, thanks so much for joining us in our community.